What's going on, traders? What's going on? Let's jump right into it. Welcome back to another live stream. My name is Zach. I go by Real Deal Zach on socials. This is Real Deal Futures. Make sure you read what is on the screen right here, right now. Trading's risky. Most traders do lose money. You're probably going to lose all or more of the money that you decide to trade with. I'm not a financial advisor. Nothing you see or hear from me here or anywhere else is financial advice or a suggestion or recommendation to do anything. I'm just an idiot talking about trading on YouTube. Also, make sure you read CFTC Rule 4.41 and the affiliate partnership disclaimer, everything below this video that says I stand to make money from the links in my content. Let's go ahead and jump over to these charts, man. See what we got rolling here on ES. I'll be taking a look at ES. Been having some good results trading, really just focusing on ES. YM is super simple off the open as well, but I'm going to keep the focus really honed in on really micro ES, MES, the S&P 500 futures contract. I have, so just make sure my Bookmap is up and running. Yeah, Bookmap is looking good over here on the side. We are ready to roll, man. So let's take a look from a higher time frame, get a little bit of top-down analysis as we come into NYSE Open. If you've been paying attention to these markets, you know that we have indeed been selling off. We have had quite a bit of downward pressure on this chart right here. You can see the really gnarly sell-off here, and then this week has been pretty weak, right? Downtrend, although we did have a nice long wick and pull back up yesterday, but we were selling off quite a bit at the morning. Caught some of that, ended green on the day, but pretty tight, choppy overnight session, overnight range, right? A little bit of an indecisive bullish candle forming right here. I'm a little bit cautious that we may see just some chop today. We had 2 down days. There's usually not so many consecutive bearish days in the US indices, right? Just going from the really dumb zoom out on the higher time frame, you know, stonks go up type of mindset. I really am start to get cautious after we get too many downtrend days outside of seeing like a massive, you know, correction or, you know, us in a recession or something like that. So overnight we did drift higher coming into the last minute before NYSE Open. Overnight, we did drift higher, but let's just take a look and see on a 1-hour chart what this looks like. Yeah, when we zoom out, it's still pretty choppy, right? We don't have a really clean trend from a higher time frame perspective. Really just some large back and forth movement. Of course, this does present a lot of opportunity on the lower time frames that I am trading. As we start to zoom in, drop down to the 5-minute chart, you can see what we've been doing day over day here, right? Nice clean trend to the downside. We did get below some key levels, but you can see where yesterday's low was put in, popped back up towards the afternoon, chopped around here, and then we did drift a little bit higher, got above VWAP, and just had this little bit of a drift to the upside, putting the overnight high in here, still below, staying below prior day's high. If we look at how we're opening up right here in about just a couple seconds here. Let's get back down to my trading time frame, the 1-minute chart. Adjust this NYSE session VWAP now that we have 930. Yeah, drifted higher. We are opening up somewhat high in that prior day's candle, right? Just looking at the candle as a range, we do have prior day high up here. We are opening up, you know, about, you know, above 50%, obviously. Here's prior day low down here. We're coming down to test, opening up to the downside right here, right now. Coming down to test overnight low. We were really, really close to session VWAP. Session VWAP is above prior days NYSE session VWAP. Those are the two that I really like to run on my chart. So somewhat bullish structure, at least like on the lowest time frame here, coming off of yesterday's low. Higher time frame than that would be downtrend structure, right? Selling off day over day. Zooming out even further would be a little bit choppy, and then of course, way out, we are looking at the higher time frame trend to the upside that really does stick in the U.S. indices. So I'm a little cautious of chop today. If I had to come in with any kind of bias, it would be just cautious of choppiness. Again, we had 2 down days. We have a Wednesday with not a whole lot of news. We do have some orange folder at 10 a.m. We'll be cautious of that right here. But outside of just selling back off and seeing this start to continue, like we are really going to get down below yesterday's low and continue this pressure to the downside, I don't know that we bounce here. We see a massive push to the upside. I'm a little bit cautious of choppiness. You know, looking at VWAPs and kind of where we are opening up from yesterday, could be some continuation of that overnight move, that Asia-London move, drifting to the upside above VWAP. This could be a pullback down, getting below VWAP before we start to crack to the upside. So overall, I'm going to stay neutral. I'm going to stay pretty unbiased on here. You know, we don't have massive direction. Again, I'm a little bit cautious of some chop that we can see today, but likely going to be waiting for this 15-minute opening range to set. I don't always, but that's my game plan. That's my top-down analysis coming into today. Somewhat neutral, a little bit high in the range from yesterday. You know, session VWAP above prior day session VWAP. Overnight low, overnight high, pretty close to yesterday's high. Fairly tight range, but here we go, selling off at the open. Got a quick push down, a little bit of a pullback coming down to test this overnight low level. Not a really strong level. You know, a little bit of consol. Well, not bad, right? Because we had a bounce here from yesterday, pre-market session before a push up and then a sell back off. Have some consolidation right down here. Looks like we want to come down below that. Could be looking at this area next, if not all the way down to prior day session VWAP, which is lining up with some of these lows down here. But yeah, we start to come down below this level. I'm looking short. I'm looking short. But what's going on, guys? What's going on? Appreciate you hopping on. What's up? What's up? Good morning. What if I all talked about yesterday happened in the pre-market itself? Yeah. Yep. Yeah, market overall is weak, right? Yeah, I'm just reading some of the comments in the chat. What's up, guys? Smash the like button. No, yeah, market's weak overall, right? I'll zoom out again because I don't want to jump right in on this. Just look at the 15-minute, right? You know, we are choppy if I zoom out farther than this because we've got lows down here and we're not drifting. But if we look at how this has presented itself into this week, this is pretty damn weak. We have consecutive down days. We are failing to move higher. We're failing to get above any, you know, middle to low time frame high. Yes, we have some pullbacks up, some corrections after the push is lower, but this has been sellers taking the market down towards these lows. Again, as I zoom out, is this a massive downtrend, you know, looking month over month? No. But right here, right now, we have failed to get higher. And you could look at the past couple week over week, right? Sell-offs on Monday, big corrections, but really failure to get above these highs up here into the 6160s, right? We came up to test these levels. Buyers had a chance to bring this market up. And, you know, we've at least been chopping back and forth and now continuing to test these lows, breaking below, right? Looking at this structure just somewhat objectively, this is pretty dang close to an equal high, got above this one right here. But we have some lower lows getting put in here, right? So this is weak, you know, weak overall, weak on this, you know, middle to low time frame. I don't like to classify anything too specifically. Talked about where we were at overnight coming into the open because I am on the 1-minute chart, right? So I'm very zoomed in. Just reset that VWAP line. But here we are, weak again, man. Weak again. Again, a little cautious of some chop. I'm going to try to stay a little bit patient. Again, 15 minutes for me is not a long time to wait into the open. To say I know what's going to happen after the first 2 or 3 1-minute candles print, or I have a great way to structure risk. A lot of times you just get caught up in that initial volatility, and that can suck to take a loss on. So 15-minute opening range setting is a pretty safe bet, especially here in ES where we aren't moving terribly fast, although it is a US indice. It's not quite NASDAQ. But I've got, we're on a Topstep X chart here, copy trading 5 XFAs, got them all linked, and I have Tradeify over on the side on this chart right here. Same chart that we're looking at, really close to the same chart, trading view chart. Got a Tradeify straight to funded 50K loaded up on this bad boy. But yeah, it's been really interesting copy trading this year. It's been very interesting. I think we have a very, very unique opportunity. I'm going to be talking about it a lot more in content that I put out on socials. I don't think it's for everybody. I think, yes, you are increasing risk overall, but you're able to really give yourself more room to work. And if you struggle with psychology, looking at a P&L fluctuate, it can be a real cheat code for you. For me, I just like the opportunity to leverage, to compound these wins. You can turn $50 to $100 a day into $10,000, $20,000 a month if you're copy trading. It's pretty wild. So I don't know how long it's going to be available. I don't know how long it's going to be around for. My gut tells me not forever, but presents a pretty wild opportunity right now. So, I don't think putting all your eggs in one basket is always the smartest thing to do. Even with these 5 copy traded, I have accounts on backup. So even on Topstep, all my accounts aren't in one basket. Also have Tradeify, again, separate from this. But pretty wild opportunity with copy trading accounts. Not that this is anything new. But just doing some math and kind of looking at results and looking at how low you can keep risk individually on each account, which is important to do. We just don't have a lot of room to work with a $2,000, max loss limit in these accounts. If you're able to keep risk really low and copy trade and spread it across accounts, it's pretty sweet opportunity. So in any event, got close to that overnight low, immediately cracked back up, back towards VWAP. Looks like we want to go trade out VWAP and get back to this area of high volume, at least for right here, right now. This could be a pull down, crack up above, man. Again, looking at VWAP here, being above prior day session VWAP, us being high in the range, right? Here's yesterday's low. This could be, this could be a move to the upside, right? Just a continuation, some correction. And we are going to close today bullish after having, a few consecutive down days. I wouldn't be surprised to see that. Again, I also wouldn't be surprised if we got some chop today, right? Just the nature of the market, looking at basic market structure, right? Very, very basic market structure and price action. We typically don't just rip in one direction for forever. The market seems to rebalance after we get large movements. We seem to chop a little bit. We seem to calm things down. We don't have a lot of news today. Again, we'll look at it together. ForexFactory.com, looking at the news for this week. We have 10 a.m. new home sales, crude oil inventories. That's today. We do have G20 meetings going on that can cause some intermittent volatility. Want to be cautious, a little bit cautious right around 10 a.m. Rest of the week, red folder tomorrow, 8:30. If you trade pre-market, these are in EST. If you trade pre-market an hour before NYSE open, I'd be really cautious of that. Friday, again, 8:30 a.m. and then pretty clear for the rest of it. But we do have some more new home sales or pending home sales, some housing market data coming in during the NYSE session, but nothing crazy, right? Nothing really crazy. So let's see what we get out of the market today. Staying patient. Again, like yesterday, right? We had some chop right around the open, and then we did start to sell off really aggressively. Took some small wins on that. Took a small win on that, I should say. Played out pretty quickly. No complaints. But I would have liked to found a way in there. And I told you guys I was going to journal and review that. I did. I can find a way in there using low of day VWAP and, attempting to continue to trade in the direction on this 1-minute chart. You do get these opportunities. They don't always work out. It is cleaner coming directly off of VWAP. And sometimes you get that indication to wait and you're going to use your discretion. But there was a couple ways in there yesterday to take some more small trades to the downside. So I'm going to try to do better on a larger trending day like that. Not to hold my trades for forever. That's not the game plan. I'm trading 1-minute chart. I'm going to be in and out. But to find a way back in, take a follow-up trade. So let's see what we get here. 9:41 a.m. Selling off, then back to VWAP, then back below. Not really blasting above just yet, but this is kind of feeling like a little bit of a correction to the upside. Could be in store back towards this overnight high. back to challenge prior day's high, that we may want to make this a bullish daily candle. It's kind of what it's feeling like here. If you subscribe to the central pivot range idea, I don't even know what that is. Market should be trending today. Very narrow CPR, but then a number of days, market just chops around narrow CPR. Yeah, I don't know exactly what that is, but sure. If you have a reason to believe that, then go after it. I just go with the basic market structure price action. Here's what I see a little bit more often than not, and I try to use that to my abilities to structure risk and to maybe take trades that have a ever so slightly more likelihood of working out with a 1-to-1 or slightly positive risk to reward. Rejection off of VWAP, harsh rejection off of VWAP. We got 15-minute opening range coming up here, but so far this is looking weak. This is looking very weak. Could be a quick pullback before continuation up. I'm not looking to get involved yet, but we opened up, sold off, got near overnight low, went back up, respected VWAP to the T, and sold directly back off. Interested to see where we go from here. Again, don't have a massive bias outside of higher time frames looking weak. Looking at where we opened up today, I do have an indication that, hey, maybe we are going to correct a little bit. Maybe we're going to chop a little bit. But I'm going to let the market show its hand first. So that's my game plan. Two seconds, guys. I'm going to let this opening range set. Be right back. Back with you here. Let's see. Coming up on this 15-minute opening range setting right here, right now. There we have it. So let me just make sure this is in the right spot. Yeah. 59. What is this setting at? 78.25. Interesting set right here for this 15-minute opening range. Gives me a little bit of reference, some levels to trade off of, another level that I like to use, set of levels that I like to use, that 15-minute opening range. Not nearly as strong with enough clear statistics like the initial balance, the 1 hour opening range, but just something else to use on the 1 minute chart when we're really zoomed in here. Looking at Bookmap, big stack of orders at the 93s. Big stack, 1,000 lot on the book. Wow. Looks like nice strong positive delta on this as well. We come back down, and I'm going to show you guys Bookmap in a minute, but this may move kind of fast, so I want to pay attention. Just get ready to trade this. Yeah, we come back down. I might not get an opportunity. I'd look for a quick buy, kind of a quick move to break out of that 15-minute opening range, get above VWAP, and go and fill orders up there. But there is a massive stack of orders up at 93.5. I'll show you it after. I'll show you guys Bookmap, but big stack of orders in the book. We got some at 90, just above price right here, but a massive stack. I don't know that we get through that quickly. Actually looks like 750 to 800 that we're coming up into right now. But we may see some volatility here. We may struggle to get through this. But that is what I look for on Bookmap. That's why I use order flow. Very, very simple. Looking for a massive stack of orders like that to pay attention to. I think we are likely to move into it, or at least attempt to move into it. Yeah, it's staying on. I'm going to look for a buy if we pull back down. I'm not going to take it from up here. It's not a good risk structure. There's really not a trade. Shame on me for not paying attention to that. It came on the book at... Yeah, started to come on the book at... There we go. There we go. That's us coming through it with a lot of volume. Came on the book at 939, so actually all the way back here. Yeah, bullish structure breaking out to the upside. This could have been a setup from down here. Really aggressive. Oh, no, we didn't have a 15-minute opening range set. Wow, more on the book above. Wow. That's pretty gnarly. Sorry guys, I'm trying to keep my chart in front of me without just moving Bookmap over it, so I gotta see what NQ looks like as well. Yeah, bullish move out of this. Yeah, this is looking strong. I'm looking for a buy on this. I would have liked to have been paying attention to Bookmap, and that's just me missing it. We didn't have 15-minute opening range set until we got over here, but this could have been a buy play. Stop loss below overnight low, below 15-minute opening range low. As we put this low in before we got back up here, a buy back towards the top of this 15-minute opening range to hold towards overnight low. I don't know that we're going to pull back. This is very strong now, at least coming out of this area. Overnight low is the next area of interest, but I'd look for a buy and a pullback with a pretty wide stop to trade this to the upside. More and more orders on the book above. Every time we come up, we come right through them. We could see it here. Yeah, you could actually see the volume pick up relative to the open, coming right through that. You can see it on the traditional volume. You can see it on Bookmap as well. But buyers are in store now. So, yeah, I think we may see somewhat of a correction today. I'd like for this to let me in, though. Gonna look to buy a dip here, guys. That's my game plan. That's my initial game plan. Back above VWAP, right? All three VWAPs that I'm using are lining up. As long as we don't come ripping through this to the downside, I would look for this move to continue. But I don't have a way to structure risk from up here, really at all. I don't know that I'm going to wait for a really specific pullback and test of a level, but back down towards VWAP, back down towards 15-minute opening range high. would give me an entry. Crack through this area of low volume back into this area would give me an entry to buy to the upside. But I don't know that we get that. This looks pretty strong. That would be really wide. Nope. So we want to pop. Dang. Yeah, that would have been Bookmap helping me out here. Again, a little bit early for my taste. But I got locked in on that just a little bit late. We got more above. I think we're going to crack overnight high and keep moving. Maybe we see some kind of a pullback from this area here. But coming through orders right now on Bookmap, continuing this momentum to the upside. Yeah. Yep. Well, let's wait and see. I'm not going to FOMO into something. Really nice push after a quick sell-off. Pull back down, continuation up. Yeah, somewhere in here, had I seen orders up here, would have been a nice trade to the upside. Stop loss down below here. But won't be the only opportunity. We're on the 1-minute chart. Plenty of setups present themselves. Appreciate you guys hopping on. Let's see. What's up, Ryan? NVIDIA. Yes, NVIDIA earnings are after the bell today. That can definitely cause some volatility today. We got a little bit of rejection here. That could definitely cause some volatility today, certainly into the close and after the bell. I would be extremely cautious if you are trading, especially NASDAQ, into the close. I would expect a lot of volatility in anticipation of those earnings coming out. What's up? Looking at this pullback. Yeah, I'm going to look to buy something here. Don't have a way to structure risk on this. This is tough. Got to wait for a pullback down towards VWAP, 15-minute opening range high. We might not get it. This is not a way in for me. Just like yesterday, I had a better way in like yesterday where we had a pullback and then a break of highs. This is just a nice quick pop to the upside. You can see what it looks like on a 15-minute and 5-minute chart. It's a very aggressive move to the upside. Let's see what we get out of ES here. Again, we could be in for some chop. That's a strong move off the open. There are still orders up above. Seems like more and more kept coming on and getting filled. I see orders all the way up to the 630s. I think this thing's going to go. I'm just going to try to find a way in that makes sense for me. That's my game plan. Bullish structure. Bullish structure. Above VWAP. Above prior day session VWAP. Headed toward, breaking above overnight high. Headed towards prior day high. Orders up above. All of this, in my book, very simply calls for buys. That's what I'm looking for. This could be all the pullback we get. I'm going to wait for it down to 15-minute opening range high, or VWAP. I think this is a very clear level on the chart that I would like to see tested. Taking it from up here would generate a really bad invalidation point. It's just not something that I can grab from up here, man. Just not something that I can grab, but this may turn and go. Could take it on a breakout to the upside like this. If this market is really going to be strong today, that's not a terrible play. I may look to do that. So I just don't know this thing's going to give me the pullback that I need. There we go. Let's see. What do you got for me here today, ES? We pull back up and break this high. I'm likely going to buy into the breakout to the upside. Stop loss just below whatever low that we put in. That's going to be my game plan. We continue to sell off. Not aggressively, but we continue to sell off. I'm going to look for an aggressive buy as we come back down towards these two VWAPs and 15-minute opening range high. But here may be the turn. I'm not going to buy it from up here because I think we can continue slicing down. I would take it aggressively from down here because I just don't feel that we're going to come directly through it based on price action and market structure. But I'm going to buy into this breakout if we come up here. That's my game plan. 10-point stop, something like that. Yeah, I'm going to take it from up here, guys. I'm going to try it first with a nice tight stop just below this level, buying into the breakout. We have to come back down lower. I do think we're going to come and check these levels out down here. So I'm just going to leave this with $100 worth of risk on. Looking to buy into this breakout. There's orders to the upside. Very, very bullish structure. We didn't come down and test this level. But like I talked about yesterday, I'm not always going to have to wait for a complete test of a level. If I do, I run the risk of just missing too many clean trades. This may be choppy. We may have to chop back around, take me out down here, come back down to VWAP, come back down to these levels. But I'm going to try it here first. We come back down and then push back up. I'm going to try it again. That's my game plan. Again, going to do it a little bit lower risk, right? You see me put on $200+ worth of risk. Got $100 because I am pretty tight, but there we go. Trying to break to the upside. Harsh rejection. There's our 10 a.m. orange folder news. Let's see if we can hang on to it. More orders up above. Let's take a look and see if this one plays in our favor. May come down and need to wick down here on that volatility. It hasn't done it just yet, but that was a pretty harsh rejection after a quick wick up above here to come right back in on this candle. But I'm going to let the thing play. We said pretty low risk on this. Just over $100 across accounts. Buying into this breakout after a pullback down to this area, near the area of high volume, some consolidation. Not waiting for it to come all the way back down into the range and then push all the way back up. There we go. Can we continue this move to the upside towards prior day high? That would be pretty sweet. Pretty sweet. Again, watching Bookmap on the side, excuse me. A lot of orders up above. Would really like to see us come through the 60-10s. Just don't know if we're going to have to pull back on it first. But we're in a trade. We're long. Live trading here with you guys. 03.5. Long 3 micros. Light risk. Stop at 96.25. Failing to get above. Failing to come into this. Failing to come through this liquidity up above. Man, need to see the break like right here, right now. We continue lower. I think this is a stop out. That doesn't look wonderful. 5-minute chart doesn't look great either. I'm not going to cap the trade yet, but we come back down here. This is not a bad invalidation point now. We come back down here, back below prior bar low on the 5-minute chart, which it looks like we're going to do. I do think we're going to pull back farther into this range before continuing higher, and this breakout play is not going to work. But that's okay. I really like this trade. I'm glad that I found my way in without hesitating, without sitting and watching the market run. And if I have to take the L on it, light risk, I'm okay with that. Yeah, we're struggling here. Struggling here. 610's not a bad level to look for. Would like to see us get through that pretty quickly. But we got orders all the way up to 620, 630 on Bookmap. I'm going to show you guys real quick. We may just reject, but here's what I'm looking at on Bookmap. We got orders up above. I'd really like to see us come through this 610 like we're doing right now. 620, 630 on the book. This looks like we could try to run to the upside. Prior day high up here. But oftentimes before we come through something like this, ooh, there we go. Before we come through something like this, we reject really harshly. Pull back down, stop everybody out like me that's getting long right here. We're trying it. We're trying it. Let's see, ES. Let's get the run to the upside. I'm going to try not to choke this trade out. My stop loss is where it needs to be. From here, this is one that I would have to let turn into a loser if we came back down on me. Stop loss right here. It's just right at the top of the zone, right at overnight high. I don't think it makes sense to make this an invalidation point. I think we could chop here. If we do come back through, we can come back through violently. So stop loss to break even is a play. But I feel like these trades, a lot of them would get stopped if I went stop to break even right here, right now, and then continue in my direction. So for those reasons, this is an instance where I'd let $60 turn into an L if I have to. Would love to see us come through this, man. Where is the follow through? Where is our follow through, guys? Just zooming out on this a little bit. Yeah, this is a decision point up here. I don't know that we break out. Don't know that we break out. If we do, be pretty sweet. Prior day high is a nice target. We come all the way back down into this range. I think we chop a little bit. Maybe we pull a gnarly pullback and then continuation. Can certainly be in store. I'm trading this for the breakout, so let's see what we get. Sorry, just resetting VWAP over here. Yeah, not getting the continuation I want to see on this. At least right here, right now. We continue to come lower. Pull back down to VWAP could be in store before we blast off on this. Again, I don't want to take the trade off. I'm going to realize the $100 loss if I have to, and just move on to the second trade. But we are not blasting off right here, right now. Coming down through lows. Maybe we just get a test of this level right here. Maybe right here. We got to come down and sweep this low. Trade thesis was that we were going to continue to push up, and we just didn't. Let's see if we can find any buyers down in here. Still have a lot of orders above, but we may need to come back down, pick up liquidity down around this level before continuing. Just not getting the follow through that I would have liked on this. Tough to have a stop above these areas, but if I'm trading this as a breakout, the thesis is that it's going to go. If it comes all the way back down, there's a second entry, but this thesis just didn't play out. You know, that's part of it. So I can't run my stop stupid wide down here, although I still think this long idea is valid if we come all the way back down into this area. There we go. Buyers trying it again. Can we do it this time through the 610s? Let's see the break, guys. Let's see the break. Let's see the break. This point, we come back down through. I don't know that I want to realize the loss on this one. Yeah, I'm going stop to break even. I'm stopping myself out there. We're failing to get above too many times. This may just turn and burn from here. But this is too many tests, too much chop back and forth up here. So I'm out for break even on this one. We'll see if it rips from here or if it does in fact come down below this low, in which case I would have saved myself a full stop out, and I'll look for a better entry down here. Here's why I'm doing this. Trade thesis is the breakout, right? We didn't break out the last 3 or 4 times that we tested this. Stop loss right down around this level is not bad, but now after consolidating up here, I do think a pullback down to VWAP definitely could be in store, and I'd like to be long down here. And I don't have a good risk structure being long all the way up here and having my stop loss right down below this level. So we'll see if this just takes off and runs from here, and me not touching the trade, not going stop loss to break even, and letting it come back down on me again was a good call or bad call. Looks like we're going to try it again. But it's just not a good structure for me to have my stop loss right here if I want to be long down here. There's something wrong with the trade, right? Either I got to go way wide on the stop, or I got to go stop loss to break even, wait to see if we come back down lower, and then continue the upside. But looks like this thing's now going to break after coming and stopping me at break even. So we'll watch this one play out in real time together. Prior day high would be the target on this. That's what I was looking for. So it might be just the frustrating going stop loss to break even, getting stopped, and then continuing. Looks like what we're seeing. Going to come and test the 60-10s. But again, I have to have some consistency in my game plan, the way that I'm trading. And if I get myself into a situation where my stop loss is at an area where I'd still like to be long, my initial trade thesis is not playing out, the trade just continues to chop around in an area where I'm expecting a breakout, I got to be a little bit more defensive on it. So, but again, we'll watch how it plays. Still looking strong. Still looking like we want to go test these 610s. We hit below this low first. I saved myself a stop out. We hit this prior day high before coming back down to these lows. I am not realizing a nice win that I would have liked to take in on this. But you manage your trades to the best of your abilities, and you let them play out. You journal, you review, you see how you can improve. That's all we can do. But the positive part about that no matter what is you reset yourself, you're flat on the day, wait for a second opportunity. Maybe we do continue the upside. I look for a buy back in after we continue moving. Maybe we do pull all the way back down in and then push back up. I get an opportunity to buy back into that without having to realize a full stop out. So ending flat, preserving capital, missing opportunity isn't great based on trade management. But we'll see. We'll see how this one plays. Let's see. 7th day win in a row. Very nice. Market's been great with volume. Yeah. There's the break to the upside. That sucks. Think could not be a bad play. Can continue with the upside. Yeah, still has room. Yeah. Small daily candles over the next few days. Consolidation on the move lower. Yep, absolutely could be. Still long play. Yeah. That area quite a bit. Still reject. Yep. Volume on that candle to the upside. There's the breakthrough, the 610s, 60-10s. There's the trade taking off to the upside. Let's see if we hit prior day high. Let's see what happens from here. Unfortunate stop and break even. Getting a little bit defensive on that one, but got to stick to my guns. Got to manage my trades as I see fit. Let's watch how this one plays. Watching on Bookmap, still a lot of orders above, man. I still think we have room to go. Try to find a way back in on this, but it's never fun to watch. But you stick to your guns. You manage your trade the best of your abilities, right? Decision in front of you, with the information in front of you, and you accept that you're not going to be right 100% of the time. Watching Bookmap, yeah, man, still a lot of orders all the way up to 60-30s. I think we're headed up that way. I think we're headed all the way up to this zone today. I think this is going to be a bullish day. Still looking long. Going to look to find my way back in. But I'm going to have to wait for some pullback, some sweep lower, some way to find a second entry on this without having a really poor entry way up high in this move. But that's my trade. That's my trade playing out. Unfortunately, 12. Not unfortunately, fortunately, right? That direction, right? About 12 and a quarter, 12 and a half points. Looked like if we come up here and sweep this prior day high, that we'll be able to have had grabbed on that. Only risking, yeah, 7.5 points or so. That's the push up. But let's see what we get from here. Market doesn't care about us and whether or not we got to stop to break even or we took a trade or what our P&L says, right? It's just going to keep doing whatever it's doing. So we'll stay focused, see what else sets up for us. Appreciate you guys hopping on here. Got a handful of people on here now. I had a bunch of people hit me up about working with me one-on-one. It's the only thing I charge for. It's the only thing I don't do free. I don't gatekeep anything. You get my strategy, my approach. You get my risk management. You watch me trade live. I answer questions, all that fun stuff. If you're interested in one-on-one coaching, working with somebody who has taken multiple traders to consistent payouts and profitability, more than happy to speak with you. Hit me up. That's a link to book a call to speak with me free. Make sure it makes sense for you and your trading and where you're at. Absolutely no pressure, but I had a handful of people reach out. A couple more days that I'm going to take meetings before I lock it up for another month. Only work with a few guys at a time. And along with that, hop in the 100%. Oh, shoot. Hop in the 100% free community if you're not already. Live trading every day. Questions answered. All that fun stuff, man. Let's see what we get from here, ES. I'd look to buy a pullback and a continuation, right? Not going to buy the straight up pullback, but if we got something like this, something down here, and then started to pull back off, started to bounce, I'd look long on that. I don't know that we're going to get it. Looks very strong. Orders up above. This just looks like the frustrating stop at break even, getting a little bit too conservative on this trade. Not wanting to allow it to come back down after really not breaking out. Initial trade thesis not breaking out for quite a bit. But just not trusting this stop. Not trusting this stop above both VWAPs and all three VWAPs. And 15-minute opening range high. There's our prior day high being hit. Very nice. Yep, continuing to push higher. No real pullback. Strength out of ES today. Yeah, more orders up above. I think this is going to drift right to 60-30s in ES. I don't see a big reason for a pullback. Frustrating to watch this one, to be honest. I'm not super happy about it. Just because I don't see a second setup forming. I don't know that I'm gonna get one. So it's happens, right? It's part of the game. But it gets a little frustrating when you don't see a second opportunity. Now at this point, if we came all the way back down to any of these levels that I'm watching, that's more of a reversal, less of a pullback. It'd be way too much of a correction to really want to get long quickly. And I don't have a clean way to structure risk on this type of price action and market structure. So, stuck sitting on my hands, just waiting to see what happens. Look for a second opportunity, but I just don't see one setting up here anytime soon. By the time we get to 60-30, that's most of the move. I'm really not going to be looking short today. So it's dealing with a stop at break even, not seeing really a good second opportunity, and just watching the market move in the direction of your trade. But that's part of it, right? Part of it. Not particularly fun, but part of it. NQ price action is BS currently. It's looking like it's about to fall any moment, but slowly climbing up. If it continues after this, after a couple pullbacks, we may see 450s. Yep. Yep, still pushing. If you guys hopped on late, I got long down at this level somewhere right in here, just below overnight high. Stop loss down below here. Got stop loss to break even after we kept trying to break this level and chopping. That was obviously too conservative of a play, but really did not have the thesis playing out and did not like where my stop loss level was. This level of invalidation just was not clean for me. Should have decided either to run it much wider down here, or wait. Obviously, it did play out. But now, just watching the market take off in the direction that I was anticipating and not really finding a way in. Would consider a break. Would consider a retest, a pullback, and then continuation for an entry. That's probably what I'd be looking at. Looking long on the way back up. Not buying the pullback, but buying the strength after the pullback. Something along those lines I could see potentially playing out. Just completely depends on what price action and structure looks like on the way back down if we get a pullback. But this feels like the slow grind recovery right up to the 30s. This is the level that I'm watching on Bookmap. Quite a few orders that are still on the book up here. Show you guys what I'm looking at on order flow. This bad boy is the next stack. We have really just been eating up everything that we come into, not finding any weakness or correcting after coming through big stacks of orders on the book today. So I think that might continue up towards that 6,030 level. Get a little bit of a pullback right now. Again, not going to look to buy the pullback. I'll be looking to buy the strength after the pullback since we are so far up. If we do pull back really aggressively, I don't know exactly where we are going to stop. I would anticipate this level up here or this level down here. Multiple reasons. Obvious level, overnight high, area of consolidation right up in here. Could just need to tap into this area of low volume, some of these highs, some of this consolidation from yesterday, or have a really aggressive pullback before we actually have a big move to the upside. Back down to VWAP, back down to New York session VWAP, 15-minute overnight, 15-minute opening range high. But this looks like we just want to keep running. Not gonna try a more aggressive pullback and then breakout, right? Just breaking retests. Like I was talking about yesterday, they are plays, right? If you just pull back, we put any arbitrary low in without really getting down below any level or testing a VWAP. Break the upside. You can take that breakout to the upside with a stop loss just below whatever low that we just put in. Shooting for a 1-to-1, shooting for, you know, some positive risk to reward, but not something that I'm going to look to take on this type of movement. But we'll see what we get. So far flat, break even across 5 XFAs, flat in the Tradeify account. Let's see what we get from here. Not looking short on this. Excuse me. I think that will be very counter to the move that we're seeing right here, right now. We'll see what we get. Getting a pullback here on this one, guys. Let's see what we get out of ES. Pullbacks are getting bought back up. This is the first one that has some actual movement to the downside. Interested to see where we go from here. Again, first level I'd be looking at is this overnight high area of consolidation before we broke to the upside. I don't know that we pull back down that far. We also have NYSE session VWAP. This is anchored. This is an anchored VWAP to 9:30 a.m. and the standard session VWAP down here. This would be an area of high volume as well, really lining up with, we zoom out, that's not too strong of a level. Anywhere down in here is going to be pretty clean. We come back down through that 15-minute opening range high. Could be another problem, but I think this thing has room to the 30s. Again, we could be in for the choppy day. I'm still going to look long on this. Not on the pullback, right? I'm not going to look to buy on the pullback. I'm going to be looking to long on the strength after the pullback. That's my game plan on this one. Let it pull back to wherever it wants to pull back, then start to bounce, start to find some buyers, and then look long. But that's a gnarly pullback in. There we go, straight to overnight high. If you were really aggressive, you could say, hey, here's my beautiful entry down here. This thing's going to rip. We're going to hold on to these higher lows that we put in. Stop loss down below this level. You know, I'm already in profit. You know, that type of deal. But we are close to VWAPs now, so I'm gonna be waiting to see what happens from down here. Aggressive reaction off of overnight high. Oh man, got some volatility today, man. I'm gonna stay patient on this. It may just blast off from here. This could be your nice stop run to the downside. We can see the volume. Buyer stepping right back in to bring this thing higher. Didn't get down to VWAP. Didn't get down to New York VWAP. This is the strength after the pullback, though. Yeah, this is an opportunity. I'm not taking it. If I watch this one rip, I'm just gonna wrap it up. I'm not taking this one, but this is another setup to 60-30 stop loss just below just below this level. We got to pull back, harsh rejection off a level, pull back to this area of high volume. Buyer stepped right back in. You know, that is creating a new level of invalidation. It's so damn close to this VWAP. I just don't have confidence in this invalidation point. But this is buyer stepping right back in. You can see the volume coming down, see the volume coming right back up. There's your opportunity to buy after the pullback, buy the strength after the pullback. I'm not going to take it. We'll see how this one plays out. Maybe I have to watch another missed opportunity because I am just not confident in taking these trades with such strength and having to have a stop loss that's so close to this 1 minute market structure. That's probably what it's going to come down to, how I'll have to journal this. But that's the setup right there. Super aggressive entry right off these levels, but again, we're coming down like that. You have no idea where we're going to stop. There's the entry after the pullback. And volume supporting it to a degree. Can certainly still chop up here and then come back down lower. But this would be, you know, opportunity number one. Again, not taking it. For me, I just don't have the confidence, I guess, to take these as aggressively as I am seeing them set up on the 1 minute chart and what it means for my stop loss, where it has to go. This, to me, like trading this low time frame, maybe it's a little bit difficult. Stop loss is at an area where I would still really like to be long. I think we can still come down here, check out VWAP, hold this upturn structure and then continue. But this is the this is the structure that's forming. So we'll see what this looks like. We'll see if I'm calling out great trades and then just not executing and or stopping myself out of good stuff. We'll see. I hope this thing comes back down so I don't have to watch another painful one. But we'll see. This is the trade idea, right? Aggressive pullback to a level that I have marked on my chart. Level of high volume, area consolidation before breakout to the upside. Waiting for the pullback, buying on the strength after the pullback. Again, I don't like the structure on this one, and I'm gonna have to get comfortable with this type of structure here on ES. It's probably just a byproduct of having to warm back up, coming off of NQ, where we do get these larger pullbacks, these larger wiki movements, and in ES we don't. A lot of times we just get the pullback to whatever level it wants to pull back to. And then we get strength, and that's your opportunity to get in with a new level of invalidation. But we'll see. Again, said I was cautious of a choppy day initially. We got initial balance set as well, 1030. I'm still going to look long on this. I'd really like it off of VWAPs. That's my game plan. I'd like it strength after VWAP. I would be okay if it came down here, took this out, make me feel good about not jumping in when I saw it right here. But it may not happen. We may just be chopping around a little bit before taking back off. It's kind of what it looks like. If I was going to utilize another tool, it would be high of day anchored VWAP, which this would be your break and close above right here. Actually, I have these marked. Let's get the initial balance high and low marked up. The first, oh, don't want to do that. The first 1 hour opening range. The high and the low that is put in from 9:30 a.m. Eastern to 10:30 a.m. Eastern. I'm gonna put a higher low and break out from down here, huh? Yep. Yep. I got a feeling I'm reading it right. I'm just not comfortable with the wrist structure. Let's see what we get. Let's see what we get. Yeah, just watching this consolidation up here. Again, here was the play that I was eyeballing. Didn't take again. Got a feeling it's going to play out, and giving me multiple chances to jump back in. Didn't like the risk structure with stops above again at an area that I don't like, just above VWAP. And if I'm not going to have confidence like I didn't have on the first one, I'm not going to jump in and then duck myself out of a good trade or want to be long after a retest. This looks like the pullback, clean test right to overnight high on the dot to the tick, and then some consolidation maybe before a continuation up towards 60-30s. We still have quite a bit of orders up above, although I'm watching one come off right now. All the way up to this level. We've been eating everything up on Bookmap. Continuing to push to the upside, really just coming through every level of liquidity and it adding fuel to the fire. Gonna have to watch this one play out and just journal a trade that I choked up on and didn't allow it the room that it needed to breathe from down here to play out, and then maybe another one play out. But I don't know that I'd be too happy if I was in this right now. It's a lot of chop right around this level. Sweep below one more time down towards VWAP and then a continuation could absolutely be a play. So we'll have to see. Yeah, let's see. Used to hate micros, and now I'm so scared of minis. With my combine account, I just trade minis. Yeah. Micros, especially if you're gonna copy trade and you want, low risk. Micros are just more flexible. It's just a tick value difference in my mind. Just more flexible on micros. For the swarm, just let you know what we had on Bookmap right there. Levels above, been eating it up really all day, just pushing through orders here on ES. Micros the way to go. Minis are too expensive. So always look at how much money I may lose for micros. Yep. Good morning, Brian. What's going on, my man? What's up? Watching the market move. Trade management was tight on that first trade. Second opportunity I didn't jump into, at least yet. And I got a good feeling it's going to move in my direction, but just don't have confidence for where these levels of validation have to go. And I'm going to have to build some confidence in it because ES just trends too tightly. Trends way too tightly to be waiting for these larger pullbacks and these these VWAPs to be tested. That's what I'm gathering. Watched it yesterday, watched it today. Not losing money with it, but a lot of opportunity that can be capitalized on. But I'm going to hang out and watch this. This looks like we want to break and go. We break initial balance. We typically do not come back down to break the other side. Again, this was the second trade idea that I did not take. Something along those lines. It's kind of what I'm watching play out. Not too confident just based on how choppy this is, but would still be interested in a long after retesting, maybe pulling further back down off of these key VWAPs. Oh, that one's in the wrong place. But we'll wait and see. Not going anywhere just yet. I'll be right back. I'm going somewhere right now, but I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to stay on the live. Back in action with you guys. Still chopping up around near these highs, huh? Looks like we want to go break, but that's a lot of choppiness. Getting some resistance right at this where this high of day anchored VWAP would be. Let's make it a different color just for fun. These glasses, I can't see colors. Holding back above that, this looks like we want to go. Again, my opportunity to jump in was right around here after this pull back down and aggressive buying pressure back up. Just waiting to see where we go from here. Looking for a second opportunity if there's something that presents itself. Still looking long on this. I'm not going to get counter on the day. I'm sure there's selling pressure up here. We are chopping around here. We may start to see this reversal towards the New York lunchtime. But I'm looking at this, north to 60-30s. Just didn't find a way back in. This was it. Opportunity again to do it. But not confident in where that stop loss placement had to go above these VWAP lines, just a little bit further down. But that's something that I'm going to have to get comfortable with here on ES. Coming off of NASDAQ, probably just getting too comfortable on that wiki back and forth movement and expecting these big extensions when we do pull back. We just don't seem to get that on ES. So I'm thinking it's mostly just a byproduct of getting a little bit more warmed up. Same with this trade over here. Didn't love where the stop loss placement has to go. Got conservative on getting stopped out at break even. I was long down here. Stopped out at break even. Stop loss below here. That would have paid very, very nicely to prior day high. So I think it's just going to be being a little bit more patient, letting trades play out. Maybe. I'm not mad at this trade management. I'm okay with this. But just dealing with tight, trendy, slow-moving ES and getting more comfortable with that again. I think that's going to be the improvement of the day. Let's see. Yeah, running into some resistance up here. Not just breaking above, not just blasting off from here, but kind of just chopping and consolidating. I'm starting to get less and less faith in a long play after a pullback, but I don't want to jump off just yet. I'm gonna let this develop a little bit longer. Still think we're going to head towards 60-30. Think we're going to break out above these 20s. And that this trade, this second opportunity, would have indeed paid. Gave me 20 chances to jump back in, which I'm not taking. All of that, this is my entry point. If you do miss it, there is a thesis that says, like, let's say, you hesitate or something like that, right? And you wanted, close of this candle, stop loss down below here. Here's your trade setup, right? Well, if you miss it here and it gives you another opportunity to jump in, maybe even a couple points lower, and the trade's not invalidated, you could do that. You could jump right back in. Stop loss goes in the same place as if you had entered right here. So just talking about, like, entering trades in general, if you do indeed miss your setup and you have an opportunity to still structure the trade the exact same way, and price action, market structure, volume, all of your tools have not invalidated anything, not really changed anything, you can jump back in. Maybe you get a little bit slightly better price, couple ticks, couple points. Nothing wrong with that. So I recognize that, and I'm still not taking it. Now at this point, this is very choppy. We're failing to come lower, failing to come back to VWAP, but this is not buyers taking it higher, right? This immediate momentum has now died out. We've pulled back and failed to just blast directly off, right? Again, if I was in this trade, I would like to see that momentum continue right here, not come over to the right, chopping around in a range for the last 20 minutes. Now, still looks okay, right? Not invalidating the trade, not pushing lower, not coming back down below this low, but choppy nonetheless. There we go, pushing the highs. Looking like we want to break IB high. So I'm going to go ahead and mark both of these so I can journal them. Be looking something like that right about now. Yeah, if you guys don't know, you can mark up your chart and then hit the hide tool. It's pretty sweet. You have an object tree here on Topstep X or TradingView chart, and you can see all of your indicators, all of your markups. And what I do at the end of the day, or at the beginning of a trading day, usually rather, I come to the charts. I'll just hide IB high and low, 15-minute opening range high and low. This way, I don't have to come back and constantly draw and remark them. Same thing with tools, right? Like, I don't want to have this overlaid on the chart right now while I'm trading and watching it with you guys. It's just like kind of blocking everything up. But let's say I don't want to have to come back and go, well, where was I looking at getting long? You know, like end of the day or something when I go to journal or whatever it is. You can mark up as you're trading. Like, let's say you actually took the trade, and I got to get better at doing that myself. I'm usually just talking to you guys and figuring out where I want to put my stop loss. But you can mark your chart up and then come back and hide, right? Keep trading, do your thing. Maybe you take a lot of trades, you're a scalper. You can also mark your chart with, you know, notes, right? Let's say, you know, on this trade specifically, which I'll actually do, I went stop loss to break even right here. So it's like stop loss to break even here. Stopped for break even. Reasons: didn't like the inval point above VWAPs. Didn't break out right away. And then I can note, you know, too conservative, too quick, would have paid. And I can hide something like that as well. And then, just while we're here doing the journaling thing, really easy way to journal if you don't want to use an awesome tool like TradeZella. You can just go ahead and take a screenshot of the chart, right? You can download it. You can just copy link, which is pretty sweet. If you hit copy link, you're able to literally just have the image saved in a link that doesn't go away. And then anytime you want to just click on it, you can go ahead and save it in, you know, a note-taking app. You can use Notion or, you know, Notes app on your phone or whatever it is. And that can be your journal. Maybe a couple extra notes, you know, adding to that what you did, why, how it played out. That's the basics of journaling, what I would do. You have the chart in front of you. You have entry exit points. You do have to say what contract size you went with, what risk you put on. You can click on the position tool to actually show, you know, risk to reward, right? When you put it down, you could have it, you know, visible if you want. Take a screenshot of that. But you definitely should be journaling your trades, especially if it's something that you know, want to reflect on, you maybe want to look at more. But you got to create a feedback loop for yourself. Really awesome tool to do that with is TradeZella. It's automatic, connects to all of your accounts. Tons of awesome features outside of just tracking trades and journaling. There's a backtesting feature. Really sweet. If you guys want to check that out, give you, so you know I got a link. Whoa. You know I got a link for it. Boom. TradeZella if you want to check out a really awesome, it's the household name, right? If you're going to use a trading journal, that's the one. Automated trading journal, I should say. But if you're dead broke and you just want to do something super simple, screenshot of your chart, position tool, some notes on it in the notes section of your phone, create a feedback loop, figure out what's working, what's not working, do a little bit more of what's working, a little bit less of what's not working. Identify trends, you know, stay on top of changes and things that are going well and going wrong in your approach, your strategy, and give yourself more confidence, right? To follow along with your approach, with your strategy. If you're just shooting from the hip all the time, especially early on, you have no idea why you hit the target. You just don't. So it gets really hard to do more of what's actually working well because you don't even know what's happening when you're winning, right? You maybe you're going to remember the last few days of trading, but as a whole, you're really not remembering. So simple journaling, very simple journaling. Don't know many people that make it without some form of journaling. You know, most guys, as they get more experienced, more advanced, they're not journaling every trade. They're not taking 47 notes. But to a degree, they still hold a feedback loop. They have something that is creating a feedback loop, right? You watch any professional athlete sport, you watch the Olympics, there's like 4 coaches in the corner taking video and writing down what the athletes are doing, and then reviewing it with them, creating a feedback loop. You know, what's going well, what's going poorly, how can we improve? You always want to be doing that. If you back off doing that, you stop getting better and you just start getting worse. That's my thought on it. Still just drifting higher in this like tight channel that we have after putting that low in. Would be in profit on that second trade, but like, man, I'd be pretty tired at this point watching this thing just chop around. Still think we're gonna break out. We can definitely sell off from here. We got resistance. We are not quickly continuing this momentum after a pullback. Just drifting slowly to the right hand side, albeit a trend to the upside, putting in higher lows. So we'll see where we go from here. Waiting for a second setup. I don't see something that's really going to come for me. Pull back down to VWAP. I don't see it. I'm looking at this as a blast up to 60-30, and I really just want to watch how this trade would have played out with you guys. That's kind of why I'm here. Watching the market move. What journal do you use? Check the link that I just posted right there, brother. Right there. TradeZella. Again, you can also use, like when I first started journaling, I used the Notes app on my iPhone. And I would do exactly what I just showed you, screenshot with a bunch of images and text on the chart, and then make a note. I've also used Notion as well. For me personally, this is a pretty sweet trade journal. I have all of my morning sessions recorded that stay up on YouTube. So if I'm ever thinking about what happened one morning, it's pretty awesome. I can go back and play it back in real time. I think a lot of guys do that. They record, but not only that, I'm articulating what I'm doing like a lot. So if I'm thinking back on like this tight trending movement and me not capitalizing on a breakout, I'll come back and watch one of these videos if I need to and just kind of see what I was doing in real time. But yeah, I would check out TradeZella. I don't know another app or program that challenges that one for automated trading journals. It connects to everything. Here's your breakout. But again, if you're dead broke, use any note-taking app. Take screenshots, make notes, write out what you did and why, what the results were, go back and review on a daily, weekly, monthly basis. And that's your trade journal. You can also utilize a spreadsheet. When I work with guys, I do give them the option to use spreadsheets. It can be helpful, especially for back testing, really trying to hone in on trade management, different styles. If you're interested in that, hop in the free Discord and hit me up. Yeah, this would have been paying so far, man. Albeit slow and choppy. That's the break of IB high. At this point, much less likely that we come down and break this level. Once this one was set second, it was more likely that we were going to come up and break this. There are statistics behind that. Very clear, objective statistics. Failing to run through to the 30s, though. I'll tell you that. Is this gonna give me something to work with after this, or are we just gonna chop, man? This ended up being a longer stream, but I'm still hanging with you guys, waiting for a second setup. Really not too happy calling it just a break-even session, but if I don't get anything, that's okay. That's how that will go. Bookmap still have orders up to that level. That's what I've been eyeballing all morning. Bookmap is my favorite order flow tool. Very simple level 2 data displayed in the heat map. Yeah, I don't see this setting up. We're gonna head to I think we're gonna head to 60-30. That's my game plan. That's my thesis. Trade was from down here. This was the setup, like I marked up on my chart. Didn't jump into it again. Just not having the confidence to hop in with invalidations above VWAP when we were on these strong trending days here on ES. That's what I'm looking at playing out. I'll have to journal that one as another close to 2R missed opportunity. That was a setup right there. So I'm gonna wrap it up here, guys. We sell back off and head lower. You know, I'll watch what happens if we come down here again. Maybe look for a second trade, but I see this happening first, and then maybe a drift, maybe a reaction to the downside, but really just not presenting another setup. At that point, we're very far extended from VWAP with no retest. I'm not going to look for a buy through this level. So on that note, somewhat of a frustrating morning, but on that note, I'm going to wrap it up. Part of the game, break even, flat, capital preserved, right? Made a whole probably $5 right across these accounts, $6. I'll go buy myself a donut and a coffee. Talk to you guys tomorrow, live here every day, 9:30 a.m. Eastern. Remember, I'm not a financial advisor. None of this is financial advice. Make sure you do your own research, you trade responsibly. You do not take anything that you see here or anywhere else from me as a recommendation or suggestion to do anything. Read CFTC Rule 4.41 on simulated trading, which is what this is, and the affiliate partnership disclaimer that says I stand to make money from the links in my content. Talk to you guys soon. Trade safe the rest of the day if you're trading this slow, drifty trend to the upside. And yeah, I'll see you guys here tomorrow or talk to you in Discord. Later, guys.